let's go on this video because I forgot to watch it yesterday with you guys. This is courtesy of, who is it? Retroactive. Big up Retroactive. Recently dropped the other day. The comedy sellout era has begun. The comedy sellout era has begun. Big up Retroactive. Let's fucking go.
The odd festival is that they're like, you know, there's a lot of people that say people are getting paid by this Middle Eastern money and say this or they can't say that, or that they're over there, they're going to try to influence you guys.
You know, I've been getting a little bit of flack just because like my dad died 9/11, so they're like, how could you possibly go there? And I see the number and I go, I'll go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Fair play to Pete Davidson, right? Pete Davidson? Patrick Ben Davidson? That's what I always think of Aaron Brown when I hear Davidson. Fair play for him, to be honest, because it's been really cringe hearing Bill Burr tie himself up in knots trying to explain why he went and saying things that you never believe you'd hear Bill Burr say when it comes to kind of, performing for money, but then making all the excuses in the world. So fair play for Pete Davidson for being honest, but Jesus Christ, that was brutal, isn't it? Your dad and thousands of other Americans perished in 9/11, and people say, the commonly held belief is that Saudi Arabia played a part in that, right? The Saudi Arabia government played a part in 9/11, and here you are going to perform for that very government that executed your father and many others, and you're happy to do it because the money was good. It's like, ay. But to be fair to Pete Davidson, I think that that nihilism, that cynicism that he's displaying there, I think it's a front. Because I do remember reading an article that said Pete Davidson was struggling for money. I do remember reading an article that was saying that Pete Davidson is struggling for money. I think he's engaged or he's married, whatever. He's got a long-term girlfriend. They're expecting a child or they're already given birth. So he's like a dad now. He's moving into another era of his kind of life. He's grown up. So when you're grown up, grown up responsibilities come along. So he's looking for any way to kind of, get himself up on the equal footing. So I could imagine that was a bit of a lifeline, right? The Riyadh Comedy Festival coming out and saying, hey, we want you to perform for X amount of millions. So most likely that's why he took the gig. I don't think he took it because, the money was so good, I don't care about my dead dad. I think it's more so, I'm broke, I don't really have many prospects going forward. I'm gonna fucking do this gig because I have a child to look after, and a wife to look after, whatever it may be, right? And maybe other kids to raise. So I think that's the main reason. I'd hope so. Being that callous for fucking your dad.
He said it for us. Forget the Jeff list. How about the Saudi sellout list, huh? Get your...
Oh, is that right? Big up Asad Aziz. Bro, Pete Davidson just bought 2 new Rollies and a DMX style gold link chain. I'm sure he's doing alright. Yeah, maybe he got the advance though. Maybe he got a down payment. Remember, Tim Dillon said that recently too. Tim Dillon said that even though he got cancelled for a Riyadh Comedy Festival, they did give him quite a sizable down payment. So maybe he got half up front and he just blew it on some Rollies in the fucking chain. You get me? I get it. But Jesus Christ.
Tickets now to comedy's best. Even at $1 billion. Yeah, it does make it weird, Pete. What in the hell is going on anymore? Imagine perishing in a tragedy and 2 decades later your son is fluffing Saudi pillows and telling G-rated jokes to not get locked up for money. What a happy ending for all involved, as Shane Gillis said when asked about going.
For Saudis?
Yeah.
Weren't those the 9/11 guys?
That is good. I admire that.
Then they doubled the bag, and I was like...
They doubled the bag, the princes?
It was a significant bag.
What?
But I'd already said no. I took a principled stand.
Yeah, against Saudi Arabia.
It wasn't even that. I didn't even think about it.
I thought we were allies with Saudi Arabia.
Where's Bert Kreischer, though? The prince doesn't like the machine, come on.
That's a good point. Where is Bert Kreischer? That's a very, very good point. Bert Kreischer would have been there in an instant. I wonder if Bert Kreischer was offered and he declined it. But Bert Kreischer would have gone in an instant. There's no way Bert Kreischer would have said no.
Everybody from legends like Louis C.K., Chappelle and Burr, which did surprise people. No surprise at all with Andrew Schultz, Whitney Cummings, Aziz Ansari, Jimmy Carr, Chris Stefano, Iglesias, Tom Segura, goes on and on. None of these names are legends in comedy, nor scream any shred of personal integrity prior to and definitely during this. Multi-millionaires being swayed by a few million more to do a censored version of their act for, great leaders who do no wrong, of course. Yep, there's nothing there to be concerned about. Then there's Disney's Bill Burr. Damn. Of course, he made this exact joke on his podcast.
I am a 21-year-old guy from Saudi Arabia. Our government pays good money for entertainment. Well, what are the parameters? I just want to make sure I ain't going over there and all of a sudden I say something, you know, the wrong fucking thing and then I get in trouble.
In I don't know, one of those apartheid countries in front of a dictator like Beyonce did, shaking her perfectly round ass on New Year's Eve. You think I'm above that? I'll do it the day after Thanksgiving.
Ah, thanks Disney's Bill Burr. There we go. Wasn't much.
Disney's Bill Burr is fucking brutal, man. Oh, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Who fucking gives a shit? But it's just like, fuck, man. Like, I thought you were one of the ones, isn't it? Like, the Bill one is more confusing because he seemed to be saying certain things that would lead you to believe that he would never do something like this. You know, so I wonder what changed. Maybe maybe the fee was just too good to turn down, which is what's making me curious. Like, what is a fee that's too good to turn down for Bill Burr? Because he knows he's been very vocal. He knows what he said out loud. He knows how he's kind of like, you know, been rallying against, you know, the oligarchs, the billionaires, the far right, the selling out of, you know, he's been really vocal about that sort of shit. So he knows deep down too, because he's a smart man, how much backlash he's going to get. So I wonder what fee would have made Bill Burr say, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to take that chance. I don't care what it does for my reputation. I don't care what it does for my whatever legacy. I'm going to do it. I wonder what the fee must have been. $1 million? 2 million? 5? 10? I wonder what the fee was to get Bill Burr to just say, fuck it.
A joke, was it? He hates billionaires, like his commentary on United Healthcare, plenty of other topics over the years, unless they are paying him. Suddenly, well, hate is the new love. And Tim Dillon even revealed that it's not even millions with an S.
Doesn't matter how much they're paying me $375,000 for one show. Now, a lot of other people are getting $1.6 million. That's not me. I'm not in that bracket.
Collect your check and then fly back home to moralize at people on stage. Just brilliant levels of hypocrisy. Oh, and then he was fired by Saudi Arabia for complimenting their productive society.
They heard what you said about them having slaves. And I said, I was being positive about it. I was defending them.
The only person it's on brand for is Tim Dillon. We already know it takes a single seafood platter to buy a hin. There's at least some level of save in his approach because he owns it, unlike the rest. Then there's another level of irony as the comedian's own governments and corporations, they are clean and always do the right thing, as everybody knows.
Powerful bunch.
So maybe that's
Everyone was looking for the Joe Rogan of the left, and Bill Burr became the Joe Rogan of Riyadh.
That's really true. Really fucking true. Really, really fucking true. He can't really... Bill Burr also can't be sending subs anymore, Rogan, can he really? You know? He can't really send me subs, because I think Rogan would have rejected it. I think if they would have approached Rogan, I think Rogan would have turned it down. More so out of fear. I don't think he would turn it down for any principled, moral reason. But I think Rogan would have definitely turned them down. So I don't think Bill Burr has the place to set, you know, to be subtweeting, sending any sneak disses to Rogan's way. He doesn't have anything. He can't do it anymore. He really can't. Big up Jack Donahue Jr. Big up Jack Donahue Jr. I was thinking about that. When someone offers you money like that, you think about what you can do with it, not what you have. So Saudi's paying for both his kids into education for one show. It's probably too tempting. Doesn't matter if he has 50 million in the bank. No, of course. I said that too. I said exactly the same thing. I said Bill Burr recently, I think I've missed a few episodes, but I do remember him essentially saying something along the lines of like, now that he does comedy, although he loves it, he's kind of going into comedy with like a different focus. It's lasered in, thinking about his kids, thinking about setting his kids up. And people say that a lot with men in general, when they have children, they do laser in, they do lock in a very kind of, you know, crazy way, because they just want to make sure that they, you know, leave their kids in a good place in case anything bad happens to them or whatever. They just want to be there to, you know, to support them and also provide for them. So you'd imagine someone like a Bill Burr thinking, hey, if they're going to offer me 1.6 mil, whatever it may be, like Jack Donaghy mentioned there, then yeah, of course you're gonna take it because that's one thing, that's one less thing to worry about. I mean, the Saudis have paid for your kids' education. Now you can focus on something else now going forward. It's too much of a big chunk of money to turn down. I bet you a bunch of those people on that list, I would go as far as saying as a guess, I bet you the majority of those comedians on that list that perform at that Riyadh Comedy Festival have kids. I bet you. But then I also just think, for the ones that don't have kids, took the money anyway and already rich, I want to know that as well. Like, does it really make a difference? Or is it just one of those things where when you get, because I think what happened, I think we have a really skewed, or I have a really skewed view of like rich people. I think we think when you're rich, you're just comfortable being rich. But I guess when you're rich, you realize how easy it is to make money because you're rich, right? You get given more. Like they always say the people that get given the most free stuff are the people that don't need the free stuff. So you get given all the free stuff, and then you start expecting more of it because you're that person. And naturally, the industry keeps rewarding you because you're that person. So it must be a strange reality to live in, you know? It must be an odd reality to live in. But one thing is for certain, they always want more. It's not like they're content with just having what they want. They want having what they have. They always want more. So maybe that's just it's the basic, laws of nature and shit. Everyone kind of wants more in that situation. I would think I would chill, but some people would probably always want more, myself included, maybe, when push comes to shove.
That's why they don't care about dirty money. Well, at least Stavros somehow couldn't be bought, but Di Stefano, well, they must have converted the money to how many bagels he can buy now. Bagel boy Di Stefano loves his bagels.
This is a great line, yeah. Big up Retroactive. This is brilliant, brilliant, Paul. This is one of the most. This might have been one of the most batshit crazy. This might be one of the most batshit crazy stories I've ever heard from a comedian. And I've heard a lot of batshit crazy stories from a comedian, but this story that Chris Stefano, shared with Joe Rogan about why he moved house like twice and shit was funny and heartbreaking at the same time.
You just poured money into this. Is our home. I was like, I can't walk to a bagel store and it's gonna fuck my comedy up. It will. And she, September 27th, Saudi Arabia with. Are you fucking piece of shit?
I can't walk so essentially that story, how it goes, is that his family, his wife, his kids and shit, they moved into a really nice house in New York. His wife was getting it renovated. His kids had just started their new school. They were meeting the neighbors and shit. It was like a dream, right? They were kind of like, okay, finally we've moved to the D house. We're gonna kind of build for ourselves and go from there. And then one day, Chris just woke up and had a panic attack basically, and demanded that his family leave that house that they were just starting to fucking make their own and move down to like busy part of New York, because he wanted to be closer to a bodega shop because that would make him feel grounded or something. I don't know. Like crazy shit. Like imagine doing that to your kids. Imagine pulling your kids out of their school so that you could be next to a place that sells chopped cheeses. Like, huh?
You going to Saudi Arabia?
Are you gonna do that gig?
I can't.
Can't do it. Can't take the Saudi money.
Can't do it.
I get it.
I can't.
I didn't want to do it either. I was contemplating. I was like, maybe not. And then Jasmine was like, "You're gonna take that fucking money." And I was like, "Okay."
You're gonna have a maid that doesn't have access to her passport, whether you like it or not. You're a Filipino woman who's trapped in the desert.
Looking back further, Carlin, Hicks, Patrice, whoever you want to name, who knows what level of morals anyone has when the money bag keeps growing. But it does seem to be the antithesis of comedy to bow hypocritically. It really does sour interest in listening or enjoying their work as much. As Mark Maron, Rogan's #1 fan, pointed out,
does history not matter at all? I mean, literally, it's like the Riyadh Comedy Festival from the guys who brought you 9/11.
Whether you're a fan of his comedy or not, the Rogan comedians haven't taken his criticisms head on, because there's truth to a lot of what he's calling them out for. So Rogan just brands them as jealous haters who want in on his club.
And then there's people that genuinely do think that way. And it's what a lot of that is, I think, is the walled garden issue. A bunch of people that are doing really well together and they're hanging out together and they have fun. And you're not in that group. You start getting mad at that and you find reasons why that's bad.
There's plenty echoing.
But that is true though. It is bad, especially when you become like the de facto gatekeeper. It's one thing if he's got his own little cool crew of like, his little cliquey crew of people that he hangs about with, right? But it seems like Rogan's created an entire scene. And if you're not part of his scene, you don't really make it. Of course, if you're outside of that scene and you don't want to be in it, you're gonna feel a bit pissy. Like, you're well within your rights to, because what the fuck? Why is there only one person controlling everything? I hate how he's acting like, oh, if you just get angry, as if like that's like a, you know what I mean? That's like a weird reaction. It's a pretty normal reaction for a good comedian to be like, hey, why do I have to be friends with these fucking guys? Why can't I just get a chance? You know what I mean? I completely understand that.
These sentiments, but Rogan's just gonna never ever ever address it head on. Zach Woods from The Office fame nailed it really with this skit.
All of your favorite comedians are performing at the pleasure of Turki Al-Sheikh, and he is the head of the entertainment authority over there, and he has so many people thrown in prison because they tweeted stuff he didn't like about the soccer team or whatever, that there's a wing of a prison nicknamed after him where they hang people by their heels from the ceiling. Human Rights Watch has been begging the comedians not to participate in the whitewashing of the horrors that are ongoing in Saudi Arabia. Ugh, what a cock block Human Rights Watch is for comedy.
Damn, Gabe with the goods. Hey, get your money.
Human rights is a cock block for comedians. It's fucking great, man. Oh, he's funny. That was good.
Money and all, but maybe not that money, yeah? We also have Bobby Lee and Andrew Santino, who ironically avoided all the political drama every other podcast had, also getting great numbers, etc. But ultimately, their mediocrity revealed itself. Bobby's never had a single special. At least Tony, Theo, etc. tried and bombed. Santino, in my opinion, is terribly unfunny. So to see him dance for the oil prince, well, now I think he's a real comedian. And Kevin Hart.
Santino's another one where he's really funny on pod. I think I love his chemistry with Bobby Lee, but when he gets on stage, his comedy is god awful. He's really good on pods, I think, Santino, but Jesus Christ, as a stand-up, ay, Garbaggio.
Well, he'd take money to literally do anything.
Get used to me, because you're stuck with me now. So, Your Majesty, Your Highness, me, you, friends, you, here, next time, handshakes in person, no video, hugs, all the cool stuff. See that?
To be fair, Kevin Hart is also a bit of a hard worker, though. He went from this all the way to fucking Kai Cenat stream, Mafia Nation, whatever number it was. Like, this motherfucker grinds. Like, he loves making money. You can tell he really fucking enjoys making loads of money, you know? I'd imagine he's probably got crazy monthly bills as well, but he went straight from this to Kai Cenat stream. Crazy. But he didn't get much blowback. You know, black community doesn't seem to give a shit about Riyadh. He didn't really get much blowback at all.
That's how you know when I'm happy. All right?
That man is married to the bag and the bag alone. Nobody was surprised by that one. Just like Duncan Trussell crashing out over elephant graveyards, spot-on analysis to millions of people. Rogan's best pal and spiritual guru's own words have come true.
Man, I've got this podcast that lots of people listen to. Has it ever happened where maybe some really intelligent person has manipulated me in an attempt to get me to disseminate some kind of information out into the world?
Good luck manipulating me, Duncan Trussell. I'm an American. They can come hang out with us. Give me a hug.
You don't want to give them a hug.
So people say that Peter Thiel is Antichrist, just for argument's sake.
Who says that?
You hear that? He's actually getting mad about this.
Argument's sake.
Who says that?
The reason Dunk's got to do this is because the comedy czar is actually Pete's friend now. So he had to become a new guy to stay in Joe's circle of power. A shriveled husk of a guy, being fed by the demonic umbilical cord attached to the bowels of the comedy czar.
And then Duncan does the worst parody and address of it to not many views and his own fans revolting, calling him compromised. Duncan warning Joe powerful people might use his platform for their agendas, but no. That's not happening now, of course. Duncan, you should have just ignored it and asked the powers that be if there's a Saudi spot for you. Whether it's human rights and free speech, or the air you breathe, comedians and anyone else in the big club, as George Carlin said. Well, you and I are not on their team. They are all on the same team at the end of the day, just different divisions. Power, money, greed wins out over authenticity, truth, and funny. Your jokes or social critiques or whatever simply don't land the same unless you truly own your lack of integrity like only a few comedians successfully have done. Just watch as these free speech warrior comedians invite AI leaders on like Elon, Zuck, Thiel, Altman, all building AI data centers all over the place, allegedly spewing gas and impacting people's health. But nah, we won't hear any pushback on that. Leah Remini also fired some shots, drawing upon her ex-signed industry experience to go in.
People you used to admire and respect cave and show up in Saudi Arabia to take a check and abandon even the most basic principles they always claim to hold. That I believe that Saudis, like the rest of us, deserve to be entertained, whether it's via sporting events, concerts, or movies. But what is objectionable is when people help soften this regime's reputation around the world.
Exactly.
I'm never going to accept that.
Ironically, all this has done is draw global attention to certain horrific cases.
That's what I said in my other stream. That's what I said in my stream the other day. It's actually done the opposite. Like, you know, like it really has done the opposite. If the Saudi government actually wanted to try to repair their image in the West, well, in the public, and to attract Western, you know, tourists and shit, because that's what they obviously need to bolster their economy, they would just meet people in the middle. You know, they'd be like, hey, okay, cool. For the period of the summer or whenever the season is, women don't have to wear this, you can do this, you can do that. Do something just to kind of meet them in the middle, so that you know when you're going there you're gonna have a fucking great time, unlike any other. Like, but you know, like, they're pretty strict. They're giving the comedians all these fucking, you know, conditions and whatever else they have to do in terms of telling jokes and shit, and then they wonder why the numbers are down overall. It's like, come on, man, give us an inch, a little bit.
Even if you want to bring it back to Rogan having Trump on and giving him an easy, non-comedian interview, it takes all of the power out of a comedian's act to bow to power. What is funny is often wrapped in deep, unacknowledged truth. Power doesn't like truth. Maybe then you can argue the comedian is a clown and nothing else, but it can and has been more than that at times in history. It just isn't anymore today for what?
Yeah, it really isn't. It really isn't, man. Like, number one, we've lost good comedians. We don't have them anymore. And number two, we've lost comedians that have principles and morals and really do speak true to power. We're just left with these guys who want to be influencers, want to be public figures, you know what I mean? Want to be whatever, like influencers, content creators, public figures that are just horrible. And for some reason, I think, I don't know why it is, who in particular did it, but I think for some reason, there are a lot of people out there that just don't want to get a job, you know, that would prefer to be like, you know, living in fucking make-believe land, like a comedian, like a streamer and shit. So you shouldn't be surprised that, or I shouldn't be surprised that some of these things are a little bit, you know, all over the place and tables and shit. I don't know. It's all a madness. I just wish some of them, or the majority of them, would just come out and say, hey man, we went for the money. That'll just end all the conversations. None of this fucking nonsense explanations and shit. But hey, what do I know? What do I know? Absolutely nothing.